Analysts from Ark Invest just did a podcast discussing their Tesla valuation. So let's find out why we are so bullish and why they think Tesla will be worth over $4,000 per share based on their base case in just a few short years.
But for batteries, it's so important because the battery is the single largest cost component of the vehicle. And so Wright's law states that for every cumulative doubling of production, you get a fixed percent cost decline. And for lithium ion batteries, that's roughly 28%. And so we think that by 2023, a electric vehicle is going to reach sticker price parity. So that's the upfront cost the consumer sees with a like-for-like gas-powered car. And at that point, it should really be a no-brainer. And we think that we're going to see a huge shift in demand towards electric vehicles.
So not only are electric cars obviously better, but instant acceleration also. If you live in a colder climate, you get instant heat, which is tremendous, by the way. That's really useful here in Canada. But actually the price, the upfront cost will be the same that of a gasoline car. Now, if you think it is difficult to get an electric car now, the waiting times being absolutely ridiculous already, wait till that year. It's going to be insanity, which is also good for Tesla, obviously, because Tesla is positioned to gain from that.
Vehicles in the future, all passenger cars will be electric. So when we talk about autonomous cars, they're electric autonomous cars.
I think it's pretty obvious at this point, but I'm still surprised that many people don't believe in that. It's just a little bit absurd at this time to think that electric cars is not the future.
Ultimately, why we're so interested in autonomous driving is because we think that it could dramatically lower the cost to get around. So an autonomous taxi could price as low as 25 cents per mile. That's less than half of the cost of driving a personal car in the US, a new personal car. That's really dramatic. It's going to bring a bunch of people into the ride-hail market that are not customers today because of that extremely low cost point. Of course, cars will be a lot safer too, but ultimately we think cost is going to drive demand. And we think that this is such a large opportunity. On a revenue basis, the total addressable market is about $11 trillion. And that's really our updated work on autonomy. So it could be as cheap as 25 cents per mile for a ride, but we also see a lot of demand at the 50 cents to $1 range for existing customers today that are either traveling around for their own personal needs or for work-related travel. We've done some analysis on how customers value their time to dimension those price points. Ultimately, we think that the platform providers or the companies that own the technology stack that allow cars to be autonomous could enjoy an enterprise value of $11 to $12 trillion by 2026. So this is really a massive opportunity and one that Tesla is uniquely well set up to participate in, as it's both a vehicle manufacturer and potentially an autonomous platform provider.
That is a big opportunity. That's why I personally believe Tesla stock will 10x once FSD is solved. Maybe not in one day, but give it a little bit of time, and I'm sure it will be coming. That's why Tesla stock is the only stock I own. And leave a comment below. If you can get a ride for 25 cents per mile, would you still own a car, or would you just get a robo-taxi to get you to work and to other places? Now, I think the area where I live, there's not that much traffic and the parking is relatively easy. But when I go downtown, it's a little bit absurd. So I think if I'm going downtown, maybe I'm even taking the robo-taxi sometimes, if it's very fast. But the main issue right now is if I call Uber, just takes 10 minutes for the Uber to come. If I'm lucky, maybe 6 minutes. So it's just a little bit harder to plan around. And one thing, I'm a little bit introverted, not always, but some of the time. And when I'm going somewhere, usually I don't want to talk. I wish when you went to an Uber, if there was a button that I could press, I don't want to chat. That's one thing that if oftentimes I'm thinking and I don't want to be interrupted. And if I take a ride, that's an opportunity for me to think. So just knowing that there's no person in the car, that actually makes me much more likely to use a robotaxi compared to Uber. At least that's for me. Leave a comment below if you have that same feeling about yourself as well. And the opportunity for the robotaxis is insane. Now, I think she is a little bit, maybe it's just me, but she seemed a little bit nervous when she was talking about. And maybe that's just because the opportunity is so huge that it just sounds absurd. Maybe that's why. But I really believe Tesla is the best investment that one can possibly make right now. If you are investing long-term, short-term, I don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, let's continue. By the way, that is one very handsome bored ape that I cannot help but notice right here. I wonder who drew it. Was it her or someone else? Either way, good job. I like it.
Our expected value for Tesla stock price in 2026 is $4,600 per share. We got there by, we have a Monte Carlo simulation that we've run 1,000,000 times, and the expected value is the average of all of those simulations.
And then how does Ark get to its upside and downside cases?
Our bear case for Tesla is $2,900 per share in 2026, and that is the 25th percentile of that 1,000,000 simulation run of a Monte Carlo analysis. So in other words, we think that 25% of the time, Tesla could be worth $2,900 per share or less, and then our bull price per share is $5,800 by 2026. So that is the 75th percentile, or in other words, we think that there's a 25% probability that Tesla could be worth $5,800 per share or more by 2026.
Now, these numbers are pretty high numbers. 2026, 4,600 base case. Bear case is close to 3,000. Even based on the bear case, if you buy stock today, you are tripling your money, you're almost quadrupling your money in 4 years. Now that is insane. Will that happen? I personally don't know. The way I invest in Tesla is I'm thinking, who's going to solve full self-driving first? Tesla has the most data. Tesla has the best engineer, best single engineer, and Tesla probably has the best AI team in the world as well. And they have the most data. They have the most cars on the road that have a hardware probably capable of full self-driving. I'm betting on Tesla. Will they be the first? Will they solve it as soon as what Ark is saying? I don't know about that. But will they be the first ones? I'm quite convinced of that. That's why I'm investing in Tesla.
You know, we're saying, what is the capital efficiency, or how much money needs to be spent for an incremental unit of capacity to be built in the auto industry as it stands? And that number was $14,000. And so that's kind of what we had used and said, okay, this is the baseline if Tesla matches industry average. And so if you go and you look in the model and our blog, you can see that when Tesla first started ramping the Model 3, their capital efficiency was far, far worse. They were at roughly $84,000 per incremental unit of capacity. But they dramatically improved, and in 2021, they were down to $7,700 per incremental unit of capacity, which is pretty remarkable, right? Already half of what the industry average was. And so in the Monte Carlo, we say that in the downside case, They just marginally improve and stay at roughly $7,000 per unit, incremental unit of capacity. But in our upside case, we have that cost coming down to $2,000.
Industry average is $14,000 and Tesla says $7,000. Now that is a big difference. And Ark is modeling, if everything comes out well, that it will be down to $2,000, while the industry standard is $14,000. Think about how hard it will be for other automakers to compete when that average is based on technology that has been around, things that other automakers can already do with gasoline cars, and now they have to transition to electric vehicles. We're going to see a lot of blood. We're going to get crushed. And in the meantime, when you take Tesla, one big philosophy that Elon Musk has is that the factories, the manufacturing process is more of a product than the actual car. The manufacturing is more important than the actual car. How you manufacture the car is much more important than the end product of a manufacturing process. And I was involved in manufacturing before, and it's very difficult. It's a non-stop headache. Something always breaks down. You always have unexpected things happening. People get sick. They can't come to work. They don't want to come to work because of manufacturing. It's just a headache. So early in my life, I decided I am never going into manufacturing, and anyone who goes into it, I have deep respect for that. It's incredibly difficult, requires a lot of thinking, very careful planning, and Elon Musk is demonstrating he's able to pull it off much better than any other car companies. And by the way, one of the reasons why Elon Musk is able to achieve such efficiencies is because a lot of the things Tesla makes in-house. For example, most auto manufacturers, they are really, what do? They are really experts at supply chains. They know where you can order everything from, and then they buy everything, and then they just put those parts together, and they usually make the engine, not always, but usually they make the engine, and that's about it. They don't do their own service, they don't do their own sales. It's not that much that they do compared to Tesla, whereas Tesla, they even make their own seats. And these are pretty good seats, by the way. Room for improvement still. Sometimes I get a sweaty bottom when I sit on them. That's about the only complaint I have about them, other than maybe the headrest could be a little bit more soft. But that's a whole other discussion about the suspension of Model 3 that I have. I made another video. I don't like the suspension, but I think it's too stiff, is what I'm saying. But it's a very good car if you want to go faster. But for comfort-wise, I hope they can address that part as a owner of a Tesla vehicle. Let's continue.
Approximately 60% of the expected value in the model can be attributed to robotaxis. And we've changed a little bit the way that we've modeled this.
So what I'm hearing here is that even if Tesla does not solve full self-driving, which we don't know for sure if Tesla will solve it, I hope they will within that time frame. But even if they do not, Ark Invest believes that Tesla stock would basically be worth $1,840 per share, excluding robotaxis, by 2026. That's a doubling from where we are today. That's a pretty good return in 4 years, even if nothing happens to FSD, basically. Now, that gets me excited about Tesla, because the way I invest in Tesla is I just assume even the worst case scenario, FSD does not happen, it will still be a good investment, in my opinion. It will probably still beat S&P 500 by quite a bit. So I'm very happy with Tesla. And that's why I only own Tesla stock when it comes to publicly traded stocks.
So what's the end effect? Well, we think that there's more opportunity or more revenue opportunity in autonomous driving than we previously thought there was.
And the result of that, if we look at projections more for into the future, beyond 2026 from Ark, you can see that by 2030, they believe, base case is over $20,000 per share. And keep in mind, historically, Ark Invest has been not bullish enough. So this projection is a little unbelievable. And yet, given Tesla's history, this is possible. So FSD is really the main driver of this. And that's why I am investing in Tesla stock. Now, I don't know if it will go up all the way up to $20,000 per share by 2030. That is a huge increase. That's more than 20x from the current price. And typically, investors are super happy with just 10x in 10 years. That's unbelievably amazing. This is a hell of a lot more than that. And of course, this is just a model. It's not a guarantee, nothing close to that. It's just speculation. But Ark Invest historically has been too conservative. So this makes me excited. And that's why Tesla is the only stock that I own out of all the stocks you can buy publicly on any stock exchange. So I'll be loading up with a few more Tesla shares very soon here. And the more the price dips, the happier I get because I'm a long-term investor. If you're a short-term investor, you might lose a lot of money owning a Tesla stock. That's it for this video. Subscribe for videos like this, Tesla news, FSD especially, and I will see you in the next one. My name is Matt Posius. If you don't know who I am a serial entrepreneur and now an investor and a millionaire. So see you in the next video. Bye.